I see someone asking about the genre of the mobile game. We actually will talk about that, but basically it's one of two things, we think. Either Pokemon Go or Clash of Clans, which both could be okay.
If there's a good Blizzard spin and the stuff is, doesn't feel like the monetization of those games, so advertisements and gems, which I kind of doubt they do it like that.
Yeah.
And they could be good. 3rd of May at 10 a.m. Pacific time, also known as 7 p.m. Central European Summertime?
Summertime, yeah.
Yes. What does that mean for us? 6 p.m.?
6 p.m. BST,
Okay. We will also be going live at 6 p.m. BST on
we'll be there a bit before, but yeah.
5:30 so it's easy. We'll be there at 5:30. 5:30 BST on Tuesday, 6:30 BST on Thursday, and 6:30 BST on Friday next week.
Yeah. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, if you
it'll lube up the old windpipe.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
There's definitely better ways to track all of this other than keep it in your own head. Write it down in post-it notes, or no, here's the best one. Set the start page or homepage of your browser to the Bellular Warcraft channel, then you won't miss anything ever again.
That's it. And remember, you could miss it, but don't.
Yeah, we're not the boss of you, just your friends.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of content. Okay, to get into things. Warcraft, the mobile game reveal, it is happening May 3rd. And there have been a few interesting leaks. There is also very much something to read into in this lightning bolt with cogs and pipes.
Yeah.
Where do we see those in Warcraft?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that. Now, from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, there's 2 games that have been... Basically, 2 games are in the works. Potentially a third as well. Now,
yes.
One of them is Pokemon Go-ish. I mean, it's not literally Pokemon Go, but it's like Pokemon Go. So something to do with perhaps traversing the real world. You've got your phone. You've got battle pets. Could be quite cool. However, Pokemon Go is a thing. We've seen many things try to be Pokemon Go. There's a Jurassic World game that tries to do that. There is a Harry Potter one. There's so many of them. So... to me, like the whole swipey gameplay thing, I'm just not into something like that. And that's the one I believe Corey Stockton apparently had been working on.
Oh, yes, Corey Stockton. Yeah.
Now, if it is Battle Pets on your phone, that could work.
Yeah.
Right? For me, it's just I'm not sure about the specifics. It's certainly the one that I would not be as interested in. But I do know there's a large audience for Pokemon Go, and certainly Warcraft does have lots of nice battle pets. The next one then, which is potentially the one that I would be interested in, is a Clash-style one. So Clash of Clans.
Or Clash Royale, or... That's the thing, when you say Clash-style, I think you mean any number of genres now, but they're all kind of roughly like light strategy-esque. So.
Yeah, so Clash of Clans is one of those games where you build your base. Oh, the Harry Potter one got shut down apparently. Huh.
Yeah. Maybe that's not portent for this one.
Yeah. So in Clash of Clans, you basically get a base full of barbarians and shit, and you build your base over time, very much in that kind of, timer, accelerate the construction time by spending some gems.
Dungeon Keeper, yay!
You can, send your dudes out to attack other bases and defend attacks in your base. So it's not really an RTS, it's almost like a play-by-mail strategy or something. The thing with Clash is it's surprisingly, it's well designed, it's just monetized horrendously. You then go on to the other big Clash game, which is Clash Royale. Now, Clash Royale is a...
with cheese.
Actually fun game. So you've got basically 2 towers and you got your base. Your enemy has got 2 towers and a base, and there's 2 lanes, right? So what your goal is to destroy their towers and then destroy their base. Now, you get basically like energy or mana over time. And then you have a deck of cards. And you basically just spend your cards. So it is a deck building tug-of-war strategy game. Now, if it wasn't for the way that it was monetized, I would say that actually Clash Royale is like a pretty brilliant little game. So something like that done in the Warcraft IP without bullshit monetization could be really good.
Well, yeah, that's where we're going to run into the problem whenever you look at, so much of the proof of the pudding will be in how they handle Immortals monetization. when it hits actual full launch, because obviously some of that in the beta was like, oh, this is big Lost Ark vibes, which some like on mobile is going to feel a little bit more egregious, because like people accept that because the game's good, but if they're like on mobile, like it won't land quite as well. So I think that's the thing where hopefully this doesn't immediately scream like heavy monetization, because that's going to be the thing people are really looking out for, especially when it comes to Warcraft, because everyone's like they just know that's such a big IP that you can try to build a cash cow out of, and I think that's fundamentally the thing a lot of people will be looking for.
And in my head, like if they just do a monetized battle pass with some cosmetic rewards, that kind of thing, and they maybe keep monetization out of the core gameplay loop, then that could work. And funny enough, they did that with COD Mobile.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, I mean, how the hell do you monetize the gameplay of COD? I mean, there's no way you can do that without completely destroying it. So obviously, when you look at Hearthstone, it's pay to win. In the same way that Clash Royale could be construed as pay to win, Hearthstone is. So for me, there's a lot of potential here. Like a mobile game is a game. You can't have brilliant games on a mobile. It's just, will it come with all the negative connotations of a mobile game? If it does, that's not going to be good.
And that's, I think, where people are going to come by default. People aren't going to go, oh, mobile game from Blizzard? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. This is going to be a fantastic game for the user experience. It just so happens to be on mobile because they want to expand their market. No one's going to think that. Well, I mean, some people might, but everyone's going to come in going, what have you done wrong? It's like it's almost like it feels like they're a dog kind of coming going, we've fucked up. Please don't go in there.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, how people are going to be approaching it. So I imagine it'll probably be fine. It'll probably be fine. It just might not be for everyone. And that might be a little bit of backlash, but so far they've been kind of, outside of a couple things, they've been kind of winning on PR a little bit, just because they've been able to go, here's stuff. And people are like, fuck it, stuff, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so when we look at this, Zune typeface.
Yep.
And kind of think about these font styles. What could they mean? What does this logo mean? Mm-hmm. Well, they do say a strategy game designed from the ground up for mobile.
That
Warcraft 4.
That confirms
Clash.
that basically hard confirms the Clash one then.
Yeah, it's not the Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
So yeah, a strategy game for mobile. It's very possible. It could be great. If it's like Clash Royale, maybe themed in the you could say themed in the Second War or something if you want that Horde versus Alliance feel. It could be great. But we look at all these cogs and we then start to think.
Yeah, that's where my thought is very much, oh, this is going to be like, especially because you look at what people have been like talking about in terms of like being, people have been happy about in the Warcraft IP, like notably was like the main streets of Gadgetzan. All of the gnomes and goblin stuff seems to work really well in Hearthstone. And it's that thing where there's a lot of possibility there. So I could see this being, like, I don't know, maybe it'd be expandable or something, or maybe it'd be the core, but, a strategy game, you are building up Gnomeregan or, like, a Goblin City or something, and that's, like, the core of how you build. But I feel like that would kind of irk people, because they want core Warcraft fantasy from the first Warcraft mobile game, and they'd be like, you made a Clash game, and it's not about orcs. Have you lost your minds? So I think that's what some people would think, but
didn't Ian describe it as an auto chess-like game in WoW in one of the interviews?
Did he?
I didn't. I must have missed that interview.
Yeah,
I did not see that.
Interesting.
Now, if it is an auto battler,
yeah,
that could be good. I mean, like TFT is on mobile.
Yeah,
TFT's great. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we'll actually for about 10 seconds we'll talk about TFT later today because of a funny bit.
Well, Jason Schreier did say basically that he's heard good things about both games,
which is good.
Which, yeah, that's good. I don't think if it was some horrendously evil monetized piece of complete bullshit that Jason would be saying that. Because if he says this, he knows that, well, he's a journalist, right? So his reputation is staked on his word.
Yeah, it's like, I guess some of it is down to what does he mean by heard good things? Because as a journalist who's very close to the developer side of things, that could mean development's progressing quite well and no one's been crunched into the dirt on this. And like they're shaping up well as a developer looks at a game shaping up well.
Yeah.
And that's very different to I've heard good things because users are going to see this and go, fuck yeah, that's the Warcraft game I want. Let's go. I think that's the kind of the thing to think about in terms of don't get super excited for this, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested just because it's inherently interesting, like what they're doing with the Warcraft brand. I am open to it being good. If it's good, I'll play it. And I suppose one thing that could maybe give some confidence is that this shit's been in development for ages.
Yeah.
Right? Like for ages.
Yeah, and also considering what they just did with Diablo Immortal, which is the PR translated equivalent of grovel for forgiveness by putting it on PC, which is obviously a great move and etc. But
Absolutely.
I can't imagine them going, oh, we have 30 million or more people coming in for Diablo Immortal. We've finally clawed a little bit of that back. We've got this big height of Overwatch, and, you know, all of the news articles are Overwatch, 1.5 million players for Overwatch 2's beta, where, you know, Blizzard finally have like a win in the PR sense. Now, like, here, we're going to announce a mobile game that we know none of you are going to like. They're not going to do that. They would just hold it and try to slip it in, be like, oh, well, here's the mobile game that you don't like, but here's the new expansion, something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they are a little bit more clued in.
Yeah.
And I guess I wouldn't even be surprised if this was playable on PC because they know people emulate it anyway, which is kind of what they said with Immortal.
Well,
this is announced as a mobile game, so I'm not saying that's a sure
so
thing.
that's a thing where I think that's some of the overlap stuff where I think if they think a lot of people are interested in Immortal from the core Diablo perspective, then PC makes sense. But if this is literally like a hyper mobile game, then people aren't going to be quite as inclined to play it on emulator because it's not like this isn't going to be replacing a part of World of Warcraft. Like Immortal's kind of bridging the gap between D3 and D4. So I think that I wouldn't particularly get your hopes up too much there.
Well, there's another thing. There's an old job listing that could point to a third mobile game.
Yep.
Basically just one for a senior game designer to champion class and combat design for an unannounced project to create and iterate in all aspects of class, combat, camera, movement, gameplay systems. Somebody who understands how games like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, and HOTS make their classes feel unique and fun.
Yep. I did notice that because this was at the same time as the one below, which is the outsourced environment artist for architecture and dungeons and stuff, because that was Warcraft, I conflated these being, they must be the same game. But that's not necessarily true.
There's no chance it could be different.
There's no hint of Warcraft in the first one. So it might not be a Warcraft game that has this combat, but given they're talking about Diablo, Overwatch, Heroes of the Storm, it could be an attempt to get some of that crossover Heroes magic, but on mobile.
Yeah.
Or it could be basically anything really. But if it's not an announced project, you're getting a new mobile action combat game.
Which, hey, I'd be happy with that. Now, the mobile action combat game, that's what made, oh my god, MiHoYo? MiHoYo. Yeah, that's what made them get pretty humongous. Yeah, because obviously they're, I can't remember the name of it now, but the game, there are two games before, like there was the first game that was like a 2D action game that worked real fun. Then there was Honkai, which is basically Bayonetta, but on your phone, which is really actually good. That was Honkai Impact. Then Genshin was a little bit less character actiony, more team builder actiony. And then obviously, you look at stuff like, it was Sunny Legend, if anyone knows him from Twitter, the person who posts like character action gifs of some of the most sickest like combos you'll ever see. And like really like kind of, I don't want to say like nice cinematography like professionally, but like really cool cuts and camera movements and slowdowns and stuff. But he posted stuff from Punishing Grey Raven, which is a mobile game that I'd never heard of in my life. And I was like, why are mobile games getting better action than actual games now? What the hell's going on here? Because that's where the money is.
Yep.
Another thing then, apparently an unannounced PvP FPS project in development for 3 years. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. This is Christopher Howell's LinkedIn. What does this say? Principal game designer, Overwatch 2, responsible for prototyping, hiring, and establishing a production-ready pipeline for hero mode co-op games and encounters. Lead game designer on an unannounced FPS PvP project. Over 3 years, work involved managing level, UX, combat, and systems design, guiding new level building technology, aligning teams and vision of the project, hiring, and designing gameplay systems. Now, he did that before working in Overwatch 2. Now, when I look at that, and thinking about those dates,
Yeah.
I think that's the StarCraft shooter that's cancelled.
Interesting.
That roughly lines up with the dates. And remember, it's whenever they evidently were screwed on Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, they cancelled. So they cancelled the big StarCraft shooter, and they cancelled a few mobile games as well in order to redeploy talent over to their core IPs. So perhaps it's that.
Yeah, I suppose that's a thing where he probably isn't allowed to say cancelled FPS PvP project, because then people go, cancel? You can't be saying that now.
Could still exist on the back burner. Hard to tell.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is Blizzard games. There's more of them.
Yeah.
And certainly stay tuned to our news channel tomorrow, where I basically have a video that is big view of Blizzard's future from now, like right through to a few years in the future. I think it came out really good. So if you want to know the crack with just Blizz, how they can do good by the players and also good by the markets, that'll be then.